us on the program. So let's get straight to it. Today, 10 nominees of President Tinubu are being, the Senate has approved the appointment of 7 of the nominees of President Bola Tinubu as resident electoral commissioners of INEC. The nominees approved are Mr. Etekamba Umaren from Akwa Ibom, Mr. Isha Emekane from Edo, Mr. Oluwatoyin Babalola Ekiti, Abubakar Ahmed from Gombe, Shehu Wahab from Kwara, Aminu Idris Nasarawa, and Muhammad Abubakar Sadiq. The confirmation comes from follows President Tinubu's request for the confirmation of the nomination of the REC in accordance with the provision of Section 154 of the Constitution. However, there are agitations that some of those who are nominated have partisan relation, and civil society organization are already agitating over this. They're saying, look, this will not all go well for our elections. I'm now being joined by the executive director of Yaga Africa, a lawyer and a rights activist, Samson Itodo. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thanks, always a delight.
I saw the press statement. It looks like a coalition of civil society in Nigeria saying one thing: this is not right. What did you identify as a wrong?
Well, thanks, Sheon. Civil society have been screaming, and citizens have also raised complaints about the nominees that the president, appointed into the Electoral Commission, and for 2 reasons. First, that some of those nominees do not meet the constitutional test of non-partisanship, because the Constitution is very clear in Section 156, as well as paragraph 14 of the 3rd schedule, that people you appoint into the Electoral Commission must not have partisan leanings and affiliation. And it is public knowledge, it's a matter of public knowledge, that some nominees who were confirmed today are not just party members, but they've been seen, there are videos, there are images to show that these individuals, are not only members of political parties, but they've also campaigned for political parties. And what you have done is to assault the independence of the Electoral Commission. And there's one statement that was just made today, and it's the fact that politicians are interested in capturing INEC so they can secure electoral victory in subsequent elections. How can you explain to Nigerians? How do you expect Nigerians to be confident about the integrity of the Electoral Commission if INEC is manned by people who have partisan leanings? What you simply say is that, one, you have absolutely no regard for the Constitution. You have no regard for the independence of the Electoral Commission. It's really unfortunate, and our political leaders are being unfair to the Nigerian people and our democracy.
Let me ask you, let's hit the nail on the head. Who are these 3 persons, and what are the evidence that these guys are partisan?
Well, it is clear. Lots of petitions were submitted. In fact, this is one of the petitions by a group of 17 CSOs. And the nominee from Akwa Ibom, as well as the nominee from Edo, because these individuals, there are images, of these individuals. In fact, if you also go to their social media platforms, some people have raised issues about certain political alliances or affiliation with other nominees. But for us, we're particular about 2 nominees who, it's a matter of public knowledge, have been seen, they've also, demonstrated, and they're wearing...
The nominee of Akwa Ibom, for example,
and
there are pictures of him donning the
In fact, there's even a Channels TV video where, during a campaign, he featured, prominently in one of those campaigns. And it's just unacceptable. I mean, we can't accept this as a people.
What about the Edo nominee?
The Edo nominee was also visibly campaigning, for one of the political parties during the 2023 elections. Now, these individuals have been confirmed. The Senate didn't refer this issue to its committee on INEC, because that committee on INEC would have performed the due diligence. It would have considered this. At least it would have given citizens, the opportunity to engage and ensure scrutiny.
So so let's procedurally. How does a screening happen? How should it go naturally in the Senate?
Naturally, what we expect is that when the names were read yesterday, because there was executive communication, and the Senate President read the communication, that matter would have been referred to the statutory committee that is responsible for oversighting INEC. And in this case, is the Senate Committee on INEC. And so the names were only read yesterday. We were expecting that, yes, this matter was going to be referred to the Senate. It wasn't. Instead, the matter was considered at plenary, at the committee of the whole. Now, yes, the Senate, by its rules, can do what? Can take that course of action. But the big question is, the Senate is a Senate of Nigerians. You need to give Nigerians an opportunity, if they have questions about the partisanship or integrity of this individual.
Especially because of the sensitivity of the rules.
Exactly, because it's the Electoral Commission.
What danger does it portend for our election?
One, you've assaulted the independence of the commission. Two, the confidence that citizens have. And I think the action today clearly shows that Nigerians do not matter in the affairs of state. Their views do not count. And then what, is this a democracy? No, it isn't.
Is there a breach of the Constitution in this?
Absolutely. In fact, we also wrote to the president calling his attention to the relevant sections of the Constitution. And in this case, Section 156 sub 1A, as well as paragraph 14 of the third schedule, the president has the right, he has the power, based on the provisions of the Constitution under Section 153. He's got the power, as well as the Electoral Act Section 6. It is power, it is prerogative. But the Constitution also sets the threshold, the qualifications, and there are two constitutional thresholds. The first one is one of unquestionable integrity. The second was on non-partisanship, that you must not be a member of a political party.
That test, according to CSOs, have been failed.
Clearly.
Is it
based on what is in the public domain, based on the evidence that we have?
But is it not too late now? They are being screened.
No, well, and that's the point. This process that the Senate undertook today, it's unfortunate.
Can it be rolled back, though?
There's a constitutional provision for the removal of resident electoral commissioners, and I think that process is quite cumbersome. Yes, it's the Senate by resolution, but it's based on an address from the Senate, from the president. I think that in the interest of our democracy, in the interest of the effort to rebuild public confidence in the Electoral Commission, our political elite, especially the president and the Senate, need to retrace their steps, especially on this. Because
if they don't, what would you do? You are supposed to be a fourth leg of our democracy.
Well, I think civil society will go back, have conversation, and then perhaps communicate to Nigerians what will be the next course of action. But Nigerians should not wait for civil society. You have your elected representatives in the Senate. You have the president who is the president of Nigeria. So you have a duty to engage, ask questions.
Do you think President Tinubu can roll back this based on this agitation that civil society are not happy?
I think
and people will say, look, who is not partisan in this country? Everyone has a relation.
I totally disagree.
And there are those arguments.
But that's why you have the Constitution. And I think that the president, if he wants to act as a statesman, if he wants to act as someone who is interested in our democratic institution, if he wants to act as someone who wants to repose public confidence, rebuild public confidence in our democracy, the right thing to do is to commence the process, of redressing this particular issue.
And you think
it begins with removing
this? Do you think this president that we see today can do it?
Absolutely. I think that if the president wants to do it, he has the power to do it. He's got the Senate. The same way the Senate quickly considered this confirmation, they can also, by an address, from the president, remove this individual because it portends grave danger.
So you are worried about our elections?
No, I think Nigerians are worried. It's not something Itodo, but Nigerians are worried. If you go online and see the several petitions, it's very, very clear, and it's not good for our democracy. We're not telling the Nigerian people, as well as the international community, that we are committed to building viral democratic institutions.
We have elections in another week or so. Thank you so much, Samson Itodo.
Always a delight.
Director of Yaga Africa, a lawyer and rights activist. Thanks so much indeed for your time.
Thank you.